I've done what? At least 10 kilo bicep hammer curls. I did what? I've been doing cutting up my trainer's gym, so I've done more than 3 for sure. I think possibly 6 at this point. 10 kilo bicep hammer curls, 11 reps per set, x 6, so 6 per arm. And I'm gonna continue my training and it's live stream to do a few more reps. I get to break my rest. So, if my memory serves me, this will be the 7th rep, the 7th set of 10 kilo bicep hammer curls. So at the right arm, I think this will be number 7. 11 bicep hammer curls. 10 kilo bicep hammer curls, 11 a time, 7 times. This will be the 7th, if I recall. 1, 2, and how I do these is a multi-exercise where I'm getting more out of the bicep hammer curl than just the bicep. It starts with hanging the weight like this in my fingers. It starts with a wrist curl, a finger curl becomes a wrist curl, and then regular bicep hammer curl. So for fighting martial arts, this is a functional fitness exercise. Fighting with sticks, knives, swords, things like this, or even throwing punches, it's good to have generally good grip strength. It's conducive to good martial arts performance. It matters. Finger strength, hand strength, and wrist strength. That's like to break a wrist, punching something hard. About reps if you have strong wrists. Forearm kind of is the 4th one. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. That's 11. Switch immediately to the left one. Catch my breath a little bit. So I'm letting the weight hang down. First part is a finger curl, that becomes a wrist curl, and then a bicep hammer curl, regular one. I did 30 of these in a previous championship. The 30, it was 30 in a row. So I'm not going for maxing it out and break my PR. But the other I did around 30, I think 30. Now I'm picking number 11. I'm doing 11. And that's the 7th set of 11s that I did tonight. That is the 7th of the, or the 8th possibly, right on. I lost track. And I'm shaking it off to help it relax. So I don't start from here. Let it hang down. And then shake it to make sure it's relaxed. when I touch down, that's the break momentum. You can see I set my body in motion, it keeps swaying. So I want to do I like to do the ab exercise from a dead hang. I'm hanging here. I'm not using momentum. It's an explosive up here. Now you can do it too. We work with momentum. And as I'm swinging like that, my legs go back, which means it becomes a different exercise. We're pulling it, you start pulling it, the legs up from back here. To the benefits to use the momentum too. The benefit of having two mats is if you drop one mat, you have a backup. And I'm using natural left also. But the average person is not get to the six back and do it like that. Other one uses this in it's also chemical labor. So what a lot of people use kind of thing for between simple ones, which is always the start. So it's all of the didn't take the solution. The average man has low female, which leads to not being that energetic and having a hard time getting us there in shape. So that's what all boils down to, like you need to body. That if you're a guy that's looking to get in shape, lose weight to build muscle for this, don't fall for like overcomplicated stuff. Like restrict stuff, which makes sense to be complicated. A lot of these sports are not have low T. And if you have high T, high meaning not low, so I used to work. It's easy if you're in the service and you don't have low T. It's easy to lose fat and build muscle. It's not that hard to achieve and maintain as well as procedure if you don't have low T. So the issue, the reason it's so popular after getting shape is staying shape with the fitness goals, and if the fitness goals are to lose weight or build muscle, it's because you got low T. Now, even if you're out of shape, if you have fitness goals, that's saying something, because a lot of people don't have fitness goals and don't care at all. So it's something, if somebody said they're thinking about they want to improve or is overweight or lose weight, it's like that's something. They pull up because they don't have fitness goals. They're complacent and they're giving up on themselves. So I upload a post, like a short exercising. I'm training for God, myself, and my wife. So my wife, I wish she had like cute kids sometimes. It's like this Instagram doodoo boo boo. And sometimes I see one of their doodoo boo boo shorts, I send it to her. It's not really cute. It's like my husband's favorite pastime is like that the doodoo is like forming or something like this. It's like cute, like sweet type stuff. It's like they're perfect for sending to my wife. It's a lot of good stuff there. It's like doodoo's favorite pastime. I say it's like a clip of like a cartoon like falling. So it's important. And there's also that quite a lot of them I've seen where it's like doodoo before marriage, and it looks like me in the mirror, but it's flexing like I just did it in the bathroom. And
like do the after marriage, and it's like all the couch is like oh this big, and it's like evenings. You understand? So now that's truth. A lot of people, if they're staying in shape, this is quite often like people what is still like the market or the hunt for a mate, and they're looking to attract a woman. It's like they're staying in shape and they're taking care of themselves and they're putting in quite a lot of effort to be physically attractive. But once they get locked into a relationship, a lot of people let themselves go, which feels like almost like a scam. It's like I just stayed attractive to get you, now I got you, so I gotta like let myself go and be super unattractive and all stuff like this. So uh, I'm not a man, so but the beauty too about being an attractive couple, like a power couple, like me and my wife, is it's not unique because like she's attracted me because I have something like a car or something. She's attracted. She fell in love with a handsome giga chad strip with a six pack, and it also has a personality boost. So she fell in love with me. See, and it's not my financial assets or lack thereof would be in my case Muslim. So this pure attraction, which she falls in love with me, and that part is gonna be what I look like. She said, "Listen, how I make you feel." It is understand, like falling in love. Or you fall in love, you find a girl, wow, she said, fall in love with her. And she said, well, she falls in love with me. Now, I like that where I understand it's not other people had a relationship where my wife is attracted to me. She's not like, well, I'm a guy who's out of shape and my wife is so beautiful. It's like, wow, he's so beautiful, sexy, so but it's like, and I'm really like unattractive. And so much end up being, no, it's mutual. It's like I'm attracted to her and she's attracted to me. So I like, I, I, uh, I like the, I like that she is attracted to me. She thinks I'm handsome and sexy and things like this. Okay. And I like to stay attractive. So I'm not doing it. It sounds weird if you like only that much of that for like some kind of people pleaser for this or like looking for a person. But here's the thing: I'm this type of weird person, but I don't like to be repulsive and unattractive to my wife. See, I'm a guy that I like that my wife's attracted to me physically. See, that's a weirdo. I like to stay in shape, and I like to see my wife be like, wow, you look good. See, I like that, and not like, wow. So they understand. So yeah, uh, I'm intended to stay in shape, but there's certain things that are outside of my control. Like if I get a car accident, I'm in a wheelchair or something like this, or I don't know, the for these things that can happen. But it's like as long as it's doable, I'm gonna stay in shape. Okay, it's another thing. People are insecure and haters. So this gas Tesla might you out of shape. So I just showed you what type of shape. Sometimes the haters will mic you out of shape. Other times they all keep working, which like subtle gas times and subdevelopers, which like they're acting like they're being supported, but really they're being gaslighted in a way which like you keep working, you get the money and stuff like this. It's like, wait a minute, what universe are living in? I have, and that's what boards them, that is can pick up their feelings why. I have a perfect body already, see. I'm not one of these people exercising to get somewhere, but I'm working to get happy with my body. I have a perfect body right now, an ideal male physique according to science and according to my personal preferences. So I have just the body that I want. I have a perfect body, ideal physique, and I'm not working like towards getting happy with my body and not content. I'm working towards the physique I don't have yet. If anything, I'm working to maintain what I got. So I'm exercising because I like exercising, and it helps to stay in shape. So it's therapeutic for my mind, my body, and it has some stay in shape. It has health benefits. So I'm not working, and it's not a mental health thing that a lot of people have been brainwashed into that. They think that the ideal is that they're trying to judge me by not winning a competition. I'm not even signed up to try to win. Okay, which I it's because you're not like rich piano people. Yeah, keep training. You need to bulk up, add more muscle, do more this. You need to bulk up. We're trying to bulk. You don't. We need more. muscles, you exercise more and bulk up for this. It's like you're mentally ill. I have a perfect physique already. It's like it's not that the ideal that you've been sold on by your fitness magazines or have you got you reading as 12-year-olds or for this. Then you think that like Arnold Schwarzenegger you saw post with that 12, it's like now this is burned from mind, that's the best physique, that's ideal. It's something like this. It's not. So I have an ideal physique, okay? And I'm not working, so we keep training to get the body stuff like this. They need to bulk, so they like we need to have big muscle. I'm 5'11", 72 kilos, which would be like 155, 160 pounds, something like this, I guess. Okay. And it's lean muscle. Okay. So it's like mostly muscle weight, okay. I have a fighter's physique, a fighter's build. I'm a welterweight, which means my body is the type of body seen welterweights in the UFC. Okay. I have a perfect body. I'm not going for a bodybuilder. I'm fit for life. I'm fit for fight, see. I'm about performance, not aesthetics. And the focus is being strong, fit, and healthy. And you do a good job being strong, fit, and healthy. That ends up being physically appealing. So it's not that the ideal, a metric, call it metric, for determining what is ideal physique is what is attractive to women. And my physique is the peak, ideal, attractive physique to women. See, according to science. Shoulder to waist ratio, the V shape is a follow metric. So the shoulder to waist ratio, I have that down to a T, like optimal. Ripped with a six pack, that's one of the major things physical attractiveness is visible ab muscles. 4 or 6 or 8 or 12, but like visible abs, lean, athletic physique. So, and it's rare that a woman will be like, no, I want like a rich piano, my guy to be like rich piano. That'd be very rare. They'd be more like kind of like a kink or something like this. Okay. Do you understand? Like maybe some kind of a kink, where it's like some guys, it's like I want a girl to wear high heel shoes and like ride an elephant and then kick me in the balls and call me bad, you know. You've been a bad boy and hit me with a whip. But the other side, it's like a kink. So it's like it's almost like a kink, where it's like I think like the pro bodybuilder. It'd be kind of rare that a girl's like that's the only thing I'm attracted to. So it is. Okay. So here's the okay. So it's like, here's the point. Yeah, so it's like to all your haters, okay. It's like the idea is like, oh, you gas hours, like it's like you're out of shape, Mike, or something like this. Or it's like keep trying to get the money. It's like they still like hurted by I'm better than them, and it's like it's still like they try to assemble a false reality, get you to agree with it somehow. Narcissistic, like yeah, keep trading like fake support to get me to like agree with them, and like agree to the false reality somehow. Like try to trick me to agree with the false reality. But it's like a fall. So like yeah, like, okay good effort, keep going there, you be the one there, something like this. It's like you devalue and see that I'm not already there, I'm already there. I've arrived, okay, I have a perfect body according to science. Every metric, meaning I have a perfect blend of strength, speed, power, athletic performance. So I'm fast, I'm not so big that I gas out and can't shadow box for a long time. I have power in my punches. I have explosive power, good range of motion and things like this. Is I can grab things, hold them hard, and I can push things off me, I can kick and hit and things like this. So I have an ideal physique. And I'm more about aesthetics matter, yes, but aesthetics more like a witness to you living right. See? So if you're healthy, you look better. Like demystify that to attractiveness. What makes it look good is health. And what a lot of people do is fake health. Which like women when like heavy on makeup, things like this. Like basically, if you're healthy, your skin looks healthy. Beauty skin deep. So if you're healthier, your skin looks healthier. And healthy looking skin is what looks good. Which like if you have like bad skin and you cover it up with rouge or whatever you do, it's basically covering up bad skin that still looks it's unhealthy. So it makes your skin unhealthy, you cover it up and put like the color of healthy skin on top of the actual skin or something like this. Okay. So rather than have like a rusty car, like rusty piece, and I could spray paint like coating over it, it's still rusty, and then you have to keep reapply it. Maybe you stop rusting up the engine, okay, or like the whatever they're called, you know. So anyways, the point is that's kind of bizarre the makeup culture, by the way. That's kind of bizarre the makeup culture, where it's more about faking a look than enhancing features is a big part of my analysis of makeup culture. Where it's not about enhancing certain features, whereas like a lot of the makeup culture is like just faking it. So it's like this might be like enhancing some features. People used to fast in the Bible to talk about it with anoint their face with oil to hide the fact that they're struggling right now from sickness. Anyways, the point. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, I'm attracted to my wife, and I love that, okay? I love that an attractive woman, I'm the order her desire, she still has like a fond response to me, like, wow, like fond and shock and all. So, it's like, oh, you look great, shock and all. The Shekinah glory. Okay, hit it with the Shekinah glory. Okay. So it's like, here's a support. Okay. See? So it's like, I love that. See? I'm not going to pretend like I don't. It's like some people get a kick stomping on the green. So one of the things I like is being able to like, while my girlfriend blowing socks off, like sometimes I talk like they go on a video call that flex. And that's what it's just like, wow, the six pack look good or something. See, and it's like that does something for me. It tickles my fancy. So I'm one of these weird people where it's like I don't like if I would be like, oh, so even you would post at me if I like doing a shirt that flex, but I actually like it. She's like, wow, you look good on that. See, so I really like that. I like being physically attracted to my wife, and it's like I already am that way, and I'm not really looking to lose what I got. I get more out of shape than I look. It's not really what I'm aiming for. There is some things where things can happen, but I'm not aiming for. I'm not working to get uglier and out of shape. Okay, so I'm 36 years old. Okay, and it's like I'm like 46. I still be with a six pack. I wouldn't mind. I don't know what the shock in the leg was, if there's like terrible cancer or something like this. But I got shot in the leg by the CIA, okay, the dart gun or something similar. I got hit in the leg with something, I got another spot, who knows what is in there? It was something supposed to give me cancer, it's a radio, I don't know what it was. But anyway, it's the point. I'm a total gang something, I'm a total videos, which means to support and work with a total me, and your life expectancy is So gang stalking taught me is like an open air prison without you have been proven guilty many times in the court of law. And then targeting in ways where what they're doing to you is illegal according to law. It's like doesn't make any sense. But it's like in the stalking murder called people that participate in targeting, it's like ground the witch, kill the Jews type people, and we're the good guys for doing it. That type of people are part of the cult. You don't expect a logical reason, but basically it boils down to this. The targeting is sold to participants of targeting. As targets are bad objects, they're bad, they deserve to be like this. And what they're doing is illegal, what the police do, according to law of the land. So they're acting like they're communicating as a target, like, yeah, this is punishment for you being a bad person. That's part of what like every TA would pick up on the target and say like you're worth it basically. He's like we're not doing something wrong. What we're doing to you is not wrong. We're the good guys kind of doing it. But if you look at what they're doing is illegal. And a target never got proven guilty in a court of law of anything, due process. And then given the crime, the punishment of gang stalking. See? And then what they're doing to quote unquote punish for being a bad object, like bad, is illegal. See? So I'm a Christian being told what this means, which means I'm a persecuted Christian. I'm a Christian being told with a secret state persecution program against converts. Since I'm a Christian told with this persecution program, by default that makes me a persecuted Christian. I'm a Christian. I'm being told with a secret persecution program. Who am I, a Christian? Anybody told with this is being persecuted. Since I'm a Christian told with this, that means I'm a persecuted Christian. A Christian being persecuted. By who did this? Deep state, satanic Swedish state. And I'm a Christian being told this persecution program. And 99.99% of the persecutors are lost and not Satan. So it's like, oh, I'm a Christian being persecuted by the lost guy. But I'm the bad guy. So it really is disgusting, this persecution program. And I thought about this recently. Being a total individual, I've been seeing the bystander effect, where the average filthy, weak Christian birthed my disdain and contempt. There's a lot of Christians have heard me speak the truth for years. I've been told with persecution, and nobody's lifted their finger to show any support. So like the bystander effect. Why? Because they're cowardly and wicked. So they're afraid to show support because they're afraid that they may get or somehow get in trouble. It's like they might get some negative comments, get insulted in my chat if show support. Meanwhile, I'm being murdered by persecution for being a Christian. But if they leave a comment, maybe they get insulted in the chat. Say, you do not have disgusting reports these people are. And a lot of times how to deal with the culprits to be able to tell themselves, like an ostrich defense, remain in denial, but it's not happening. I tell myself it's crazy, it's not real, it's not being told. Now what's worse than the bystander effect is a lot of Christians, while I'm being targeted by persecution program, will join in on the targeting and target me for the program. Or just be one of the masses that like attack me. First person came in, first person gonna get blocked because they click like button. I've communicated my boundaries, people that overstep my boundaries, it will be consequences. So I have several times expressed my pet peeves, that if people come into my streams, write comments, and I can tell them hit like button, they get blocked. So he's the first person getting blocked for that, blockable offense. Came in, left a comment, then hit like button and get blocked. Boom, here you go, first person, it's too late. You can go if you like, I don't care what, it's too late. I'm not going to waste my time training people how to operate as normal human health adults. So let that be a lesson. And it's not that I care emotionally about the likes I sell. It's what I'm reacting to is the narcissism in individuals. See, and I don't like narcissistic people. Talking because it's toxic people. So I shouldn't have to train people. So I'm a content producer. Everything I produce is free, and it's at high level than a lot of people I'm doing in different niches. I do better entertainment. I'm more charismatic and entertaining on camera a lot of times than a lot of people that are like big influencers that are entertainment streamers. And I'm more entertaining than them a lot of time. And there's no ads, and I don't make money from it. So what am I providing on my YouTube channel? Free entertainment, sometimes like live singing, entertainment, gaming content. There's all kinds of stuff here. There's free live gaming content, there's entertainment stuff. There's Alex Jones conspiracy rants, all I'm the real deal. Meaning, if I analyze myself, it's like, yeah, part of what I end up doing is being like Alex Jones, only better. Like a real truther, no conspiracies, and really being upset about it. So he plays an act role, I believe. Like he's very much acting. Whereas I'm really a guy who's being persecuted and told to know the truth, and like really going bananas about it and then like ranting about stuff. To a point where I had to pull some of the strings because I get so limited, I go too far. So there's some, is it like that? Like what Alex Jones pretends to be on the real deal, live streaming frequently on YouTube, like live radio broadcasts or live like podcasting. So people get that for free here. Entertainment, gaming content, health fitness coaching better than the bigger health fitness influencers, teaching people the truth on why it's often to get in shape, how to get in shape, how to look better, feel better. That call their health fitness coaching. I teach the gospel on the regular, how to get everlasting life, how to become immortal, basically. And all the stuff, all for free. And then people show up being an average narcissistic skunk in the chat. And they, notice here, the reason why in the chat is they want something, say, narcissism. They're here to get something, say, selfishness. I'm here giving, say. It's sacrificial. I'm giving. I'm losing a lot. I'm not gaining anything. I'm spending time. Spending being spent. I'm spending time, energy, producing content that people get something out of, or they wouldn't be watching. So people are here to get something. See, show up, whatever combination. Hello. 30 seconds later, they click like button. Okay. I check 30 seconds later, they click like button. So that, how you do? They want to get attention from this. They're here to get. They're here to get attention. Get some human interaction. Get some interaction from Mike. Get an answer to a question. See? Or get a reaction out of me. There's a lot of times this issue. But they can't reciprocate at those levels. They can't hit a like, click a button on the stream. Okay? Which takes 3 seconds. Boom, very easy. But expect me to take 30 seconds to 3 minutes talking to you in my chat. And it didn't even hit the like button, which is 3 seconds. Which of course is supposed to help get more views so people click the button. So, and it's like, I'm not weird. When I have to explain things like this, I understand a lot of people say they will interpret as if I'm overreacting or something, so being sensitive. Because they don't see what I'm seeing, okay? So we live in a culture now, but it's a narcissism epidemic, and the average person is highly narcissistic. And narcissism is malignant self-love. It's being hyper-focused on getting your needs met while disregarding other people's needs. That's part. It's like people that are narcissistic. Look out for number. I'm working to do good for me. Look out for number one. Get stuff, and to a point where you forget about what other people might need. See, now you're so focused on yourself, but you're here to get something. You're on YouTube to get entertainment. You're on YouTube to get attention from strangers, like streamers come in and be like, notice me senpai, be like, oh, the streamer used to, like, oh, Bob or somebody read my name, I feel good, I feel okay, or stuff like this. So it's like some attention, some answer, question, interaction. Maybe they're lonely, they want to have to talk to somebody, whatever. And that's the opposite of what I'm doing. I'm a main player character. Here's some other both points. So most people are content consumers. I consume content. I produce content more than I consume. I spend more time making podcasts, more hours per week than watching them. I spend more hours streaming live than watching other people's live streams. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to do it, but here's who I am. So I spend more time producing content than consuming it. I spend more time, I'm here doing things here. Okay. So I'm not here to make friends on YouTube. I'm here to deliver content on a platform. I'm here producing content. I'm here making videos, sharing, a big part is sharing, talk about things that worth to talk about, and sharing truth and work to wake people up to things that I believe they need to be woken up to. And I'm not here, this is not like these riffraff channels where people get drunk and just looking for a good time. Okay. I enjoy some good suffering on the okay. That's my hobby. I like to suffer, okay, at a very low level, okay. That's a joke, but basically it's like, okay, it's like that's a speech, but here's the point. Not really, but that's explains. Some of the most meaningful things are also uncomfortable. So meaning is meaningful, okay? So engaging in meaningful activities is meaning. So meaning that does something to like the human soul or whatever. It's like if you engage in something that's meaningful, that's something that matters. That you can feel that to do something you won't be doing. Okay. Now, some of the most meaningful things to do are also the most uncomfortable or like hard. Okay. Where it's like it feels meaningful, but it also feels hard at the same time. So a lot of things that I'm doing, it's a sense of feeling that is meaningful while also being more or less kind of hard. Okay. So another problem with the average man, men are not really men anymore. And we talk about character now. I've talked a lot about the physical, I'll talk about character now. Is the average man lives like a boy, where the average person, the algorithm in most humans is avoid discomfort, seek pleasure, is how to live life. Day to day, minute to minute, avoid uncomfortable stuff and hard things and pursue pleasure. Look to feel good and avoid feeling bad. Was the brute beast nature. All man see there is a beast, there's one like that, so like that, yeah, they hold one breath. Therefore man has no payments of a beast for all its vanity. Vanity of vanity, say the preach, all its vanity. And they live out the day of vanity and they eat and drink. For in the grave where you're going to this, neither eat this or this. What's in the half heart to do all that might and strength. So what is the point? People that are lost, sinning sinners, they're never gonna get saved. 100%, they're never gonna get saved. Okay, there's no way. Okay, there's no way. Hope said it never gonna get saved. It never have been. It never will be. Boogie woogie. Gonna split hell wide open like a bat out of hell or something. Like a snowball out of hell. There's no way they're gonna get saved ever. Okay, there's no way. Let's see, 100%. This is Jackson. Okay, it's kind of mocking Jackson. His style of YouTube videos. It's like overconfident. It's like the issue is not the delivery, where it's like it's that now that is also showing that like railing and being in the flesh. Okay, where it's like constantly irate and angry. Okay, and like railing. Okay. Now also the thing is where it's like what scammers do, where it's like being wrong and saying it with confidence when you're wrong. See, where it's like 100%. See, where it's like it's not correct doctrine is the issue. That's the main issue. Where like Jack Smack makes videos, he finds somebody I will trash like, but they're a heretic, like repent of his sins. The guy, great comfort. But yeah, he's a heretic. But you don't hear me go, and he's 100%, I'm sure he's lost, going to hell, but there's no way, 100% he's a lost man headed for hell, okay? Because that's not the truth, you can't know that, okay? In all the days of being a religious but lost person, he could have had a moment along the way where he's in bed and just like thinks about the finished work of Christ on the cross, like apart from the repenting of sins that he's been in before, and he's like, yeah, I'm trusting in that to go to hell or something. And if he ever had a moment like that, he'd be saved. See? I'm trusting in Christ. See? If he had a moment of trust, he's still saved. So one of Jack Smack's errors is a flavor heresy that I figure out one term for, and it's compartmentalized sinless perfectionism. Is a way to explain it, where he teaches there is going to be a compartment of sinless perfectionism, where it will be impossible. I could pull up clips. It will be that it's impossible for a Christian to end up acting like this. It's impossible for a Christian to teach a false gospel. See, it's impossible for it. It's like this person teaches a false gospel. It's impossible for a real Christian. 100% lost going to hell. When a Bible teacher should be able to be more accurate, which I'm able to do, which is why my teaching videos are high quality. Just on that basis alone. Because I'm more accurate, and a Bible teacher should be accurate, and not like the world. It's like perception and just like acting certain when you're wrong and things like this. So here's a point. So he's like, oh, Raycon. So the difference between me and him is he's wrong in his doctrine. So when I make videos on Stephen Anderson, who's a false gospel heretic, or Raphael Cohn, who's a false gospel giving heretic, sinner's prayer peddlers. There's a false gospel sinner's prayer. If you said a sinner's prayer, you think you got to say lost. Okay? Because there's nobody that can get saved from sinner's prayer. And that's a common false assurance source. That people said a prayer, somebody told them, say this prayer, you're going to heaven. And they said a prayer for salvation. They said a prayer to get saved. It's like, how do you become Christian? I called and I asked God for it. I said a prayer for this. If that's you, if you're a person that said a prayer to get saved, you didn't get saved. So unless you have a moment of pure faith in the gospel in Christ and what he did for you to be saved, you're not saved. Okay. So faith alone is faith alone, and you're saved by faith alone, which means only faith, not faith and prayer. It's like partial faith in the gospel, and there's a little bit of like self-trust in your prayer, or your asking, or your repenting, or your committing, or anything else. You need pure faith in the gospel, unadulterated, 100% faith in the gospel for your salvation, and not faith in the gospel and prayer for salvation. Okay? There's a little level that the whole up, so it just takes a wonderful thing that you add to the gospel. And I'm not trying to make it sound like it's hard to get saved, but if you corrupt the gospel by adding a work, you're adding something that you're trusting for salvation, other than simple trust in the gospel. You're nullifying the gospel message. So if you have the real gospel and you have partial faith in it, you trust the real gospel and confessing Christ as Lord and make him the Lord of your life. You add that, hey, I'm trusting the gospel, add that, praying to God, telling me I'm making Lord of my life, and I'm going to live for you now or something. If that's not like the passage, you add something else to the gospel that nullifies it and end up not getting saved. So I'm saved. That's why I have fearlessness and boldness. It has it in my life. I've been standing in jeopardy, in perils in the city by the heat of my countrymen. And having courage. It's because I'm a Christian. The Bible teaches the wicked flee will none pursue, when no man pursue, but the righteous bold as a lion. So lion is a creature that's known for boldness and courage. And God created lions, so God knows lions better than anybody else. The lion of the tribe of Judah. So there's types and antitypes in the Bible. Sugar, vitamin C, that's not in the Bible. But good snake, bad snake, Pharaoh snake, the magician snake, Pharaoh, Aaron, and Moses had a rod that cast it out and became a serpent. And they did likewise also with enchantments. There's types and antitypes, good snakes and bad snakes. A lot of you haven't had your senses exercised, you haven't gone enough to perceive these type of things when you're old. They have to teach it to, like a lot of Christians out there. And even if you had put an effort to teach, a lot of you won't be able to comprehend it. You're not able to bear it, even yet now. And you have a need to turn off your milk, that you may grow the body. Because you're not ready for the left deep little stuff. And if you would be ready mentally to receive the issues that you're too carnal and non-design of the truth, will be the issue. So basically, people don't wake up in a Lamborghini inside job, for example. It's not as simple as it's just pure IQ. It's like people that have a low IQ, they're gonna believe the official story, period. Set in stone, you have no chance. It's like if you're a dumb person, you're gonna fall for the 9/11 official story lie. and it's like only geniuses that wake up to it. No, but I would say this, that you're more likely to be non-living truther if you have a higher IQ than the average person, because it makes it harder to deny reality. So if you have a powerful brain measuring IQ, you're better at pattern recognition, and you're better at recall, typically. And part of seeing the truth in things is recognizing patterns. See, having memory was like, oh, I've seen deception before. See, and there's patterns to this behavior. So I remember patterns of deceivers in times past, and this. Do you understand? So if you have a high IQ, typically a common form of that is being better at pattern recognition and memory recall ability. So basically, I don't believe that you have to be super smart to see none of what's inside your job, but it makes it hard to deny that reality if you're sharp mentally. So it might be more likely to end up wake up to 9/11 inside job if you're smarter than if you're dumb. Now the issue is people that have a high IQ and like smart, and double positive, they like smart at the same time. It will take more of a volitional rejection of the truth. It would take more like not wanting to see the truth, the smarter you are. So it's like the less time you are, the smarter you are, the more likely you are to. It's easier for you to see the truth, okay? And if you're a smart person living in a world where you've had people like you about TV, you've seen controlled demolitions of buildings in Vegas before. Recall pattern recognition, see. That's what it boils down to. So if you have recall pattern recognition at not a pathetic level, and you have memories, and you've seen TV like that everybody else have seen, and it's like you can pull up the visuals in your mind and play the video that you saw on Discovery Network or something 6 years ago of a controlled demolition. And when you see 9/11, it's like, oh, it looks like that. See, okay, so you have memory that works, and then pattern recognition, where it's like, okay, false good. It's that pattern. See, so recall building pattern recognition aids deception detection and just being able to discern the truth in general. So the smarter you are, the more of a conscious effort, or like a more, well, the more of like an effort, like active denial of the truth. Like you would have to be like, I don't want to see it. I'm not going to accept this. I don't want to see it. It'd be harder for you to like it will take more rejection, like more of a heart that doesn't want the truth, and more of like a rejection of the truth as a choice, kind of like I don't want the truth, like I'm denying it. It's like I'm staring in the face, I'm denying it. If you're smart, but the average person with an average IQ, like an average brain, average intelligence, should be able to see that 9/11 was an inside job and lied to you. On the top of that, by the way, I posted a comment on a page about this recently. Here's my take on 9/11. Inside job. Okay, it's simple. Also, if you're speaking to weak-brained, the masses, they're not vulnerable. They're not vulnerable to long lectures where you lay one piece of the puzzle here, 30 minutes later, the next piece, and it's like they listen to the whole thing, retain in memory, and then get it. So it's like what works on the masses is slogans. Hey, hey, ho, ho. 9/11 truth was the inside job for this. What do we want? When do we want it now? See, so slogan ideas, like it is what takes on the mass. It has to be simple. So it's like, none of that was an inside job. It's like, yeah, they might need that you keep it simple and keep repeating it. So if that works to get people to believe lies, how powerful is the same tactic used to work to get people to believe the truth? Make lies simple, keep repeating it. So make the truth simple and keep repeating it. Say, Nala was an inside job. Nala was inside job. Nala was an inside job. Make it chant out like a slogan. Yeah, that might be what it takes. Just people go around and not enough truth to just start doing this now and then, like in public. Nala was an inside job. It might actually make a difference. I said, remember it. People are more likely to remember it. So here's the point. My take on 9/11: inside job, controlled demolitions. And when I get into the how it really happened, like controlled demolitions, now there's certain things there where it's like, was it all like explosives or was there thermite in there? And like a combination of both. But personally, I thought about this. I would think this could have been how it happened. They pre-weakened the steel beams with like acetylene torches or like grind or something like this. So buildings are built with redundancy, which means a high rise, an architect for notice. So a high rise is not built like the Burj Khalifa, or whatever it's called, or like the World Trade Towers. It's not built like they put a hair on top of it, it collapses, like it's strong to both counts back. It's not built to be like just strong enough to hold up the building. And then like over time it's a little bit weak and it's like it's gonna collapse if like a fat guy that gets into the World Trade Center gets an elevator or something like this. Well, it's built to redundancy, where it's built to be able to withstand, grab, like hold itself up in a storm or with like heavy rain. It gets heavier for some reason. And it's like filled to the max. It's like it's to the limit, or like it's filled with people. Okay, above baseline, and in a storm and things like this. And over time, that's not a metric. It's built to redundancy, where it's not just built to stand for 1 year with like a light load, but it's built to be able to stand for like 10 years plus, even if there's like more people than on average in a day and a storm at the same time. And after many years, when like these materials will decay over time. Unless like titanium or something, like certain materials might be practical, where it's like it's like in like a generation or something, something that loses some structural integrity. Like maybe if you build it from titanium on the beams, might not be enough titanium available in America to like replace steel girders with titanium girders or something like this. So here's the point. So it's built to redundancy. So it's just what I think, how they could have done it. Is they, but how we can get more into details. I was like a torch, okay, like a acetylene torch, I think they call it. I saw it like a flame, but it's just like this. Or was like a grinding machine, like you have in a regular garage. And it's like a circle grinder like this. But I suspect that the steel beams could have been pre-weakened because of the redundancy. And I get to why in a moment, but that would make sense. So if, let's say that the building could stand with a third of the girder, like with like a line cut from the side, a third of it, it could still hold up for like a year or so, like a week or something like this at least. It can still like stand, maybe even for several years, like if you cut a third of like key steel beams, okay? Like you cut a third of it. So it's a third as strong now. And then possibly you have like a thermite charge that is cutting it to where there's like 10% left or so 20 or whatever. Enough to where it doesn't collapse yet, but you have some thermite that's melting it from a third to about 50% or 75 or whatever the amount would be. Where it's like it's melting, it's like magma, it's lava, it's thermite. Okay? And that time to the last part is like a cutting charge, okay? Like an EFP, where like a heat shell, similar to heat shell, an RPG 7, something like this, where heat shells used in tanks or RPGs, meaning if you're working to neutralize armor with like an RPG, or they have even like anti-tank grenades, even in World War II. Basically, you have explosive, HE explosive, with a cone, inverted cone, made from copper, for example, a metal. as it blows up, it melts this cone and it becomes inverted, and it becomes a stream of molten metal. Okay, and it's good at penetrating armor. Now, if you would have a symbol like that, where it's like a brick, there's like a blasting charge, and it has the V-shaped liner inside of it, only longer, see? So it's not, it becomes like a line like this kind of the molten steel. And it's not just kind of like a cone like this, it's close and it becomes like a line like this, or molten. Possibly you could do it like that. It's like first pre-weaken it, have thermite going on, and this is like when they have the thermite is going when they have the TV cameras. The buildings have it's been hit with an airplane, and like now the thermite is working there. Okay, and then it's like timed to at the right moment where the thermite has been working, and there's just maybe a third left of the steel girder. Now the cutting shot comes, bang, and they cut the last part of it. Now why would that make sense? It sounds complicated from my perspective. Well, because you don't want the telltale signs of big squibs going off. There's like obviously was contamination. So the less explosive HE you have, the less of a flash of light, and the less of like a squib basically it's called. So the less explosive in the like the blasting charge, the smaller the explosive, the less obvious it will be. So if you're doing a covert controlled demolition, they don't want people to see covert demolition. The Vegas hotels, it's like a lot of times the windows blown out like flashes and then smoke, and it's like more obvious for demolition. And they're not trying to hide that's going on inside the building. It's like the market is being controlled demolition down, and they sell tickets to something like this, and people are watching it, it's have a countdown as it is. So it would make sense that it's like optimized for not being that obvious that it's like explosions go off in there, like initiating the that free fall or near free fall collapse into some footprint with like no signs of resistance. So there's a point. So now this is hypothetical. There's some things are certain about. Now this is hypothetical stuff, theorizing. I think they could have pre-weakened it, possibly have thermite to melt it, and then the last part is the like a blasting charge that cuts the beams, and it's all synchronized to go out 7 places. It's all synchronized, and now it collapses, and you need less of a explosion, like less pounds of like C4 whatever they're using. You need less of that plastic explosive to cut it. So it's like less pounds of explosive to blast the girders if they've been pre-weakened. See, if you don't pre-weaken, you're all just relying on like a blasting charge. You need a bigger blasting charge, which would be a bigger explosion and can be seen out the windows. Like every window is like this a bright flash, and the windows are blowing up. It would be too obvious, look like too much like a biggest demolition. Okay. So it even makes sense to pre-weaken them and optimize it to using as little explosive as possible. Possibly doing it in a different way than the contra demolition crews do normally. Where it's like they contract to do this covertly, and they're doing it in a way that's more sophisticated and designed to be covert. And it makes sense they will be doing it non-standard, see, a non-standard demolition, where typically they don't have thermite charges, to my knowledge, when they do like over demolitions. Now, anyway, that's the point. Now, also, the thermite melting, like the 2 thirds. First third is pre-weakening the beams with non-explosive, like torches or like grinders or whatever it, or like drilling holes. Then the thermite, and then the last part is the explosion, like a cutting charge, like that blasting charge. Now, what else could the thermite be doing? Generate smoke and fire. See? So if you have black smoke billowing out while an explosion happens, bang, the smoke and mirror, see, it makes sense to me. I can't put this up. So it's like, what would the thermite be doing? Well, a thermite charge, they have grenades in the military in America. That I think are thermite grenades. And they can be used to maybe disable, like if you're leaving, you're retreating, and you leave behind a howitzer, you have a thermite can shove in the barrel, pull the pin, and it melts it together so the enemy can't use it. Okay? Or throw it in the, you're forsaking a tank in the retreat, so for this, it's broken down, you don't want the enemy to be able to capture this and repair it and use it against you. So it's like you throw a thermal grenade inside of it, or put it in the breech of the gun or something like this, and it makes it, it like melts the metal together, it's like welding things together, and it becomes like irreparable. Okay, so thermite is something that can melt, so it's like you can have a pot with thermite mixture in there. Then it says like, well, I guess it would be classified as incendiary mixture of a certain type, but it's an incendiary because it's like as you ignite this fire. Okay, so you can have a ceramic pot, and you can find YouTube videos of people doing this, like showing thermite. Not to people in lab, but it's like it's people like pyrotechnic interested or something like this. And they have like a pot and a hole in it, and a thermite in there, and they have maybe like a steel slab or something, whatever they're testing. Similar to gun temperature testing for materials that you have. So they have something, and they ignite it, and it's like lava, and it's like melts through anything pretty much. See, it's like you can melt a hole through a car if you put it on top of a car, it melts a hole through the car, through the floor, into the ground, and it's like if you look under it, it's like still the lava, thermite lava, quote unquote, it's still like in the ground, kind of drilling a hole or something like this. So it's something that really melts through pretty much anything. Okay, it's super hard. And what would the thermite charger be doing? Well, that would help to disguise the explosions, because when they do control demolitions, the normal way it's just like explosions, and they have explosions. They have the steel girders, and they plan them, and then they go off in a time sequence. It's like bang, 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 like this, for example, and it starts collapsing here, and then synchronized where it's all collapsing clean into its own footprint. Say. And they can do all kinds of stuff. It's like this is like an art form. They can have like designed to like collapse the right side first and then this way, see, or just straight up and down. It's like bang, 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 bang. So it's like starts here and then boom, 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 boom. So it can start from the bottom and go up. So it's like it loses and then the next four blows and it becomes like a clean collapse. I guess it could start from the top too. But here's the point. They could also do where they have a building and they go right to left, and it goes boom, 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 boom like this. That's how it collapses. And whatever, here's the point. So here's the point. What would a thermite do? Well, it would disguise the explosions. Okay, like the last part, because the thermite is not all the weakness steel beams, like doing many things with the same things, or the same thing. So the thermite is not only doing the part of weakness steel beams, and the last part is the explosion. The thermite is not exploding. It's like lava, where it's like a liquid that's burning, producing smoke, igniting things, and creating smoke. Okay. So the thermite will be weakening the steel beams and also generating a fire, which is what they're gonna blame it. See the fire, that's what part of the towers from the gasoline from the airplanes. So there's a fire, and to explain the fire, you have the airplane gasoline lights. Like if people see this fire, it's like, yeah, the airplane, yeah, it's like intense fire, a lot of fire. How much can be so much? Yeah, it's gasoline to the airplanes. See, so the airplane jet fuel stuff is a cover for like the fire from the thermite, okay, and it's also covering up the last part of the sequence, which is the explosive. Okay, so it's like first it's like pre-weakened thermite, and the last part, like the third or last 50% of the steel beam weakening, it's like bang, cut it off with the explosive. Okay, and if you have a flashbang going off, which is like something that gives like a bright flash and a loud bang in an office building, you can see from outside like a camera flash. Okay, now if you would have thick black smoke in between you and the flashbang, and there's fire already, which is like light. So it's like smoke, and there's like light already from fires, and there's the exposure going over here, like smoke and mirrors. That can make it hard to see it, make it more subtle, because there's smoke and fire, other type of fire, general fire in the office building, in between the viewer and the exposure going off. So if you have an exposure go off here, and there's smoke and fire in between your exposure, that can disguise. They're still gonna have the smoke being pushed out if the explosion is powerful enough. Once again, we would behoove them to have the explosions be as weak as possible while being like reliably effective in cutting beams and finishing job. So now here's the point. Okay, so this is now we can kind of get into. I'm speculating on like some specifics here, but what I do know is that the 9/11 is controlled demolition, meaning they rigged it to blow. They planned in advance. They decided to pull on the towers. They made it happen that day. They planned more than 10 years in advance. Okay, and you go like more specifically, like the tradecraft of demolition. They do it like this, like that, or like that, or things like this, which can be interesting to think about, but not necessary, but what you need to know, what I'm sure that it was an inside job with lighting, but it was planned advanced by the deep state control the United States. Bush was in on it, definitely, the Bush administration. And his thing too, it's like they use different puppets, it's the old puppets. There's the point. I'm not joking, so there's stop looking outside yourself for somebody to save like Trump or Biden or whoever it is. You had to become a person, you had to get self-actualized. And the weaker you are a person, the part more likely you are to look for somebody to be the leader, okay? You had to be your own man as well, your own person. So here's the point. Here's another thing on 9/11, my take on it. And this is to become really apparent at some point. World Trade Center 7, BTC 7, World Trade Center 7. That is like the obvious. That is like the chink in the armor of 9/11. That's like a chink in the armor of the official story, like the official narrative. World Trade Center 7 is like a chink in the armor. It's like one of the most easiest things to show how it doesn't make sense. It's like World Trade Center wasn't hit by an airplane, and it came out the way that it did. So it's like it had a controlled demolition type collapse. So somehow it collapsed in the same way that when you have like a controlled demolition crew rig a building to blow cleanly quickly into some footprint. Okay. Somehow that building ended up collapsed like that without the airplanes hitting it. Okay. And the official stories are well, it's like things maybe did fly for towers and it was a fire there. Okay. Yeah, sure, buddy. Okay. It's like if you believe that, it's like you need help. Okay. It's like if you believe, if you want these people, it's like it's been kind of like a soft cover up of what's in the 7 since that happened, but they don't really focus on what's in the 7. They mention media. It's like half the cover up of it. It's like they're not the folks in most of the 2 towers. What's in the 1 and 2. Now, Word is in the 7. So notice how they blew them up. They collapsed 2 towers, which are 1 and 2, with controlled demolition charges. They rigged it to blow, they blew it. They push a button, switchboard, boom, 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 they pull it down. That's how they really brought it down. It wasn't the airplanes. As the airplanes were the scapegoat and the air hijackers. So what I believe, since that's what I have planned, we'll fly airplanes into the towers, blame the collapse on airplane-induced fires. So we blame it on jet fuel fires, the airplanes flying into the towers, and they will tell them they had this advance like the story. So we rig it to blow, we have this airplane flying into it. They go, yeah, it's like how this collapsed. It's like the airplanes had jet fuel, melted the steam beams, intense fire, and they collapsed like this. Now, What I believe is there was a third plane intended to hit World Center 7. Random act of God like an insurance policy. Or they left something to chance, see. They left something they were intending to leave nothing to chance. See. They were intending to leave nothing to chance. Okay. But what about the guy upstairs? Okay. See. And I'm quoting from one of my decals, the 9/11 Die Hard movie, and I watched it like a hawk with a magnifying glass. Okay, and I found more things, but it's abundant. It's like once I'm looking at it, I'm finding more and more. I already know that the Die Hard movie, the Nakatomi Plaza one, is a clear instance of forced 9/11 attacks and videos on this. And I watched it again, and it's about race reports. I found more things. There's a gas station scene, like 10/11 or 9/11 or so. It's some kind of like numerological, more or less vague, but I can see the reference in there. Where they have like the date of the attacks in the movie they foreshadowed on 9/11. When the cop goes to get Twinkies or Hostess cakes or what it is, he goes outside, free frame it, pause it, and look at the numbers. And there's something like 11/10 or 9/11, and like 24 hours is like plus minus type stuff. Okay, there's all kinds of stuff there. Now, here's another thing. The support with the terrorists is Nakatomi Plaza, the high rise. One is like, we're leaving nothing to chance or something like this. We left nothing to chance. And there's certain weird things where it's like, it looks like they're not referencing God, that they're worried about maybe God will make our plans come to naught. It's like, we're leaving nothing to chance. Luck and chance happen to them all. The bad is not their swift or rich or much, but it's luck and chance happen to all. So even if the most powerful the organization the world, like the Illuminati, and the most skilled at deception and like evil stuff, it's like they still, God can work through like chance and like certain, God can work through ways, and they know possibly by just by having the access to the secret Illuminati history, that it's like there's been things they tried before and it looks like the hand of God stopped us for this. So basically, these satanic people, now we get a little bit deeper with that level of the Die Hard movie called was the fortune of 11 attacks. So the same deep state did the 9/11 attacks control Hollywood and got warned you, like hinted at what they're gonna do ahead of time. And one of the scenes is that we left nothing to chance. And part of it is that they're reading up, like they had Death Core and they would read up Brian's to this in the movies at the high rise. And the terrorists in there, like Hans, where his name is. But one of them decided to say that we leave nothing to chance. Either like telling one of his henchmen, like leave nothing to chance, or either like we left nothing to chance or something like this. So that's like the deep state talk about the 9/11 attacks. That they got everything planned to detail because this is a major event, a milestone in the New World agenda, you might call it, or like a deep state 10,000 step march of tyranny and multi-generation agendas. Like 9/11 is one of the main things. And they really took good care to make sure that it turned out the way they wanted to. Now, notice we got the last laugh there, but all the planning in the world, somehow something failed. See, and I believe that possibly God made sure that it failed for people like me and to make it like hard to deny reality, to make it be enough truth even in the mainstream media reports for the day, where it's like it's seeable that something's not right here, kind of face value. That it's enough to like maybe not stop the whole thing from happening, but like leave a smoking gun, but God like left a smoking gun to make it easy for people to see the truth if they want to. See, make it a little bit harder to deny reality that they're lying to you. So anyway, here's the point. What I believe, the towers were brought down by explosive demolition charges. And the fake cause, the fake smoking gun is the airplanes. That's what they blamed it on. And a lot of idiots made resistance slaves believe, no, it's not good of his story. The airplanes flew in, started fires, jet fuel, melted the buildings, and just collapsed. Okay? So what I believe is that there was a plane headed for us, and they had decided we're going to have 3 towers here that day. And blamed the same thing. We have airplanes hit version 1, 2, and 7. And then they all find out that 3 buildings collapsed was the plan, I believe, by the deep state. To have Roger 77 also hit by an airplane so they could blame it. Now they had Roger 77 rigged up to blow in advance, but without the fake, like, airplane induced fire fake holes. See, we said we got this rigged up to blow, and the airplane didn't come. And it's just like that. We do not have to pull it. They just decided to pull anyway. Okay. It's like to make this believable enough, we need to have like a obvious, like, here's what caused it for the normies. Fly an airplane to look this fire that it melted and came down. But in World 77, saying they had a plane intended to hit World 77. Only it never arrived. And they still have that. World 77 was rigged to blow with explosives by the deep state, just as World 72 was. And now it's like the plan mishaps because there's no plane to blame it on to crash into it. And they still blew it up, controlled demolition, without like the amazing fire and airplane hitting it. But so, like, to make this credible, we need like airplanes flying into it. It's like something dramatic, so we can blame it on that and make it believable. Because it's not like it's not believable enough if you just say this fires. We need some like major obvious things like airplanes and jet fuel and things like this. Like, we need something to work with too. Because some big things can be so much attention to this event. There's like these people they don't have no IQs going to look into this, you care about the truth, and they don't want it to be too easy to like poke holes in it. So here's the point. The World Trade Center 7, there was, what I believe, there was a plane headed for it, which could be Flight 93, which was shot down above Pennsylvania. So I believe the Flight 93 was the airplane that was intended to hit World Trade Center 7. And here, now again, we digress, and we're getting into like speculation here, or kind of like figuring out what's going on there. But I believe there was an airplane that was intended to hit World Trade 7, and just World Trade wanted to blame the collapse on this airplane that hit it and start a fire and melt the building steel beams and it collapsed. Okay. Only their plan failed, and the plan didn't. The airplane, it wasn't the airplane that's planned to hit World Trade 7. That's it. So it's like a third of the major plan failed. Okay. A third specifically. Like 3 towers gonna go down New York today. Or 3 like high rises or whatever it was. And a third of it didn't work. Now you could go, well, it's like possible because like the Tom Beamer stuff was like the heroic American passengers, the propaganda, the heroic passengers that they rose up and fought back against the hijackers, and it led to the plane crashing in the field. But the debris field indicates an explosion mid-air, as far as I'm concerned. It means that it's scattered across such a big area. So the debris field is so this part of criminology where criminologists analyze blood spatter patterns. It's like, understand, if I end up like in a knife fight with a crackhead in here or something like this, and it was some kind of crime scene investigation to take pictures of, be like the splatter indicates that they crawled out of a cat here and it hit the wall here. Okay, so most likely at the moment the guy got his neck cut, he was standing right here. And he was moving forward. You can see like the blood splatter moving the same pattern. There's a whole science to that, like blood splatter patterns. It's kind of like Dexter stuff, like CSI type stuff if you watch TV shows. Where it's like they can analyze things like the pattern of blood drops. So it's like if you're standing still and bleeding, there will be more circular drops of blood on the ground. Whereas if it's moving and the blood drops are fine like this, it might be more of an oval. So if you go like this and have a counter finger, you're more likely to have like oval blood splatters. And if it's just you've got a cat finger just fall straight, that's marked in more circles of this type of stuff. So you can get some information about it's like where the injury happened, how it happened, and at what level was the head when the injury was sustained, things like this. So like similar to this, that you can figure out by studying details. So here's the point. if an airplane crashes into the ground, if an airplane crashes into the ground, the debris field that's not that huge, okay? It'd be like a hole in the ground of the airplane fuselage, and maybe the tail end survives and is close to the impact site, and then a few like stuff flying here and there. But if you have like a debris field where it's like across kilometers, where it's like it's just parts of the airplane is like scattered widely, it looks like it got hit with a missile, blew up in the air, and started falling apart mid-air. And it's like there's certain details that look like it doesn't make sense that it hit the ground intact. That's like people diving at the ground. It looks more consistent with an explosion mid-air. Because if something explodes mid-air, breaks apart, you have the debris scattered over a wide area. Versus if you have something crash into the ground and it kind of explodes in the ground, it's not going to be as wide of a dispersion. Like the area, what you want to call it. So now you can go, well, either that you can believe that it's like, well, it was the heroic American propaganda people that here's the thing, they turn a PR disaster quite possibly into PR opportunity. See, where it's like they use this for, because all like this is like a stage or a movie. Where it's like the thing is like stir up patriotic fervor, channel it into here's the bad guys go to war, America for America. So it's like a movie, it's like the PR, like the Flight 93 story. It's like the heroic American hijack stood up to them, united and fought back and crashed the plane or something. It ended up the plane crashed somehow because they fought back as hijackers. Okay. When quite possible what actually happened was F-16 fighter jets were scrambled, or F-22, whatever they had back then, F-16, and they were part of the conspiracy. Like some commander, some airfield somewhere, military commander that was not in on the take. It's like acting on standard procedures. Like this terror attack on America, scrambled jets, and here's like a rogue plane that is not being, did not respond to hails. Okay, and it led to like somebody got the order to shoot down the airplanes, and somebody shot down the airplanes. Let's see, with like missiles or autocannons or whatever. I never kind of really use autocannons, but like they shot it down somehow. Okay, so that would be more credible to me. That's more likely that the Flight 93 was shot down by American fighter pilots. Like some people say it could be maybe most or all or a lot, like how many people were in on the conspiracy, okay, in like the military, Bush administration. It could be like nowhere, whatever. There's some airfield somewhere that have F-16s and they have like scattered, but have some F-16 over here, maybe some over here, so they can quickly scramble them in case these Russian bombers coming from this side. We got F-16 not too far away to intercept them. And if they're coming from over here, they're high altitude bombers like the Russians. We have some from here, they can launch from here and quickly intercept them for this. It might be strategically placed in a way where it's like you can quickly get fighters close to an enemy bomber if it's attacking airspace or like this. And then for general, like the more common use would be some Cessna doesn't respond to being held by ATC or something like this and flying towards New York. And then be like, we might have to like intercept this. And part of like the protocol would be that if like you have a Cessna and you transport where your radio malfunctions and you just find of course you know your radio's not working, you notice. And like you're flying towards maybe you're on a course that's like generally towards the White House, something like this. Okay. In large sport, of course, it might get scrambled. This has happened a few times. The planes get scrambled because you're getting too close to sensitive size for this. And I think part of the scramble procedure, now if it's emergency, they might just shoot you down. You might get ordered, like, get to the plane and shoot it down, or maybe the order. Now it can also be part like this. If it's not super important to get it down, okay. You might have the F-16 if it's a passenger jet. Fly up, match the speed, and then get like visual contact and try to look into the cockpit and possibly signal to them. Like try to get establish radio communication with them. If I get up with the F-16, like they kind of get next to the cockpit, like kind of look in physically, like look into the cockpit and see what you can see there, and like signal to them, like something like this, or you understand, whatever the signals are, like signal that you need to go down or go left or follow me, something like this. Like instead of visual cockpit, and that signal to the pilot, like see what's going on, the pilot, it already hijacked now what's going on, and then try to signal to them, like it could be going down or something like this, or whatever it is. So, and then if it doesn't work, then they might do a shot across the bow, possibly, it might be next. Was like they tell that person to go down or something like this, and they don't do it. They might do like a auto cannon, like in front of it, or something like this, like a shot across the bow to show that in distance you're gonna get shot down if you don't divert or like follow the commands. You can be there first and looking to tell them to go down or left, whatever. They don't listen, it might be like a warning shot, okay? And if they're still not responding to the command like for 5 years, they might get to all that fell shooting down. It depends on how much time you have. If they have the orders to be like, of course, as people shoot it down already, they might not have this like pre-steps, okay? If it's all like this is a hijacked plane that's headed, and it depends on how close it is to a sensitive site, okay? So if there's some space and they have the time to try to see what's going on and talk the pilot into changing his course or like landing something like this, they might try that. But if it's a short sense of time that it's like 1 minute until they reach a sensitive area, they might spend less time to try to talk them down and shoot them. So that's the point. I suspect the Flight 93 could be shot down by fighter jets. There'd be a PR nightmare. It's like Americans got killed by their own countrymen. The military killed American civilians. It's like bad PR. Okay. So it's like since this plane they died, it's like why not capitalize on this crisis by getting a PR story out of it? It's like make a whole thing. It was like yeah, they were heroic American passengers together. They got the hijackers and they crashed the plane and they saved human lives of others. So, anyways, the point. Yeah, the main point is this. There was a plane headed for Sydney and it never arrived. Okay. Was it Flight 93 or another plane? You can think for yourself. Now, here's how I believe cockpit voice recorder, zero cockpit voice recorder are most likely fake if they have any. I don't think they have any of them made available public level regionals. I'm not sure actually, but I've been looking for them, find any. I've seen them dramatic creations like History Channel documents and stuff like this. It's like dramatized. So now here's the point. This is also part of my take on it. So I personally lean towards the idea that they were more controlled airplanes and not piloted by human pilots. I believe that the airplanes were more likely to have been more controlled than that they were piloted by humans. And if I'm right, that begs the question what happened to the airplanes and the passengers. And like how did the remote control them? Yeah, I do believe that the airplanes are more likely to be remote controlled. They actually got like hijackers into the cockpit and fly the airplanes in the way they did. Like one of the things is how fast the airplanes were moving and how precise they were hitting them. And supposedly, like the alleged hijackers were not skilled pilots. They had taken some flying courses or something like this. And if it's not, maybe we should have like a pilot. No, don't have it already. But it's like they were flying really fast and it's like high advanced maneuvers. but it's also important that Bulgar must hydrate and pull this off. So here's the point. I don't believe that they would leave something this major to the human factor, give it a chance. Because a human being in a high stress scenario can make mistakes. And also, if you're going to talk people into it, a lot of times the radical muscles that would be willing to do something like this, it's not going to be a person that has thousands of flight hours like logged as a commercial pilot or something like this. It's not the same type of person, like a Taliban radical. He's like living in a cave somewhere and gets radicalized by Al Qaeda or CIA or something like this. Like a lot of times, it's like the recruitment pool of like people willing to die for Islam are not also pro pilots with thousands of flight hours as commercial pilots of what they say. They're mutually exclusive. These are really the same type of person. Okay. It's like more likely somebody can drive a car and load explosive, drive it up to the American base and push the button like this. Okay. And not like some kind of hold that we had to be a stunt driver level to like maneuver through it up until that point. Something like this. Like it's really that person that's skilled at something is also the type of radical that's going to just die for Islam or something like this. Okay. So anyways, the point. Yeah, I suspect they were more control the airplanes because even if you had like a commercial pilot to do it, like a normal Western, like an expert pilot, veteran pilot, he still might not be able to pull that off. And he might have cold feet, the human factor. Like in a conspiracy, people can have cold feet. And like the last minute, no, I'm not doing it. I'm crashing into the ground instead of the building. See, this is part of what can happen. Human beings are not entirely predictable. But machines being programmed to do things can be entirely predictable. Like an autopilot, for instance, is pre-programmed to fly in a certain path. It's like once you push that button, it's going to fly away without fail. So a human that is like a hijack, used a human hijacker, it's not impossible a person can have second thoughts and be like, you know what, I'll fly to the left and crash the ground instead. Or has a heart attack from the stress or something like that, see. And it's like it's a major event, 9/11, we're gonna have the planes hit the tower, see. You don't have unlimited airplanes in the sky to use as airplane missiles. So it's like, why would you leave that to like chance that a guy has a heart attack, that the hijack has a heart attack, and it's like, oh, we were supposed to hit the towers, but we didn't because chance dictated this guy had a heart attack in this high situation from the airplane, something like this, or got cold feet and just decided, you know what, I'm flying it straight down into the ground instead, forget the orders, something like this, because if somebody has been kind of talking to the conspiracy, it's like you need to take the order for kill or something like this. At the point where they have a suicide mission, now they lose his power of like, if you understand, that they're gonna be dead at the mission no matter what. So it's like, what fear can they have? Like, well, they're gonna kill me for doing the job right. It's like the end is they're gonna die no matter what. It is like that's hard to determine. So anyways, the point for different reasons, I believe the airplanes were remote controlled. Or if not remote controlled, like custom autopilot software where like the software is put in the airplane, like some kind of chip or microcomputer, some computer, like a custom autopilot where it can fly in ways that autopilot's not only programmed to fly. And I guess it's like autopilot is more like maybe cruise control, we call it something like this, where they just keep it stable in flight, and then the pilot does any more advanced maneuvers like. Okay. No, here's the point. Yeah, so I think that the airplanes were more controlled. I don't think they would need that to like the human factor. Because it's a major event they plan in advance. And it is also other things like were there even humans in the airplanes were like empty shells. There's also a conspiracy that the possible military aircraft, somebody was there even passengers on the plane, it was just like empty airplanes like with extra tanks of gas in it for like cinematics. Okay, is that what was it? Like just empty airplanes with extra fuel tanks in it. like a cargo plane with like fuel tanks, where you normally had the passenger seats. It's just loaded with gasoline for the extra fireball effect when it crashes, and no passengers in there. Like who knows? It's such a big thing. It's like it wouldn't be like a block. They said, well, they wouldn't do that because it's too evil to land the plane, get a passenger off, and then put them in some black site camp and torture them to death, and stuff like this, and then fly empty planes. Stuff like that. I just say I wouldn't be surprised at anything evil from the deep state. They're incredibly wicked. Yeah, so a lot of people never grew up like little boys, like Andy Woods the sellout. You know how wicked he is when he's shilling for the deep state. Andy Woods is one of these pastors I've talked about before. Deep state persecution against Hungary. You want his past perspective videos. He makes a video attack like a propaganda hit piece and alla treats like, yeah, you're poor, those who are here saying alla måste inte jobb, it's like you're bad for question the official story pretty much so what's out there. That's a shield. Yeah, shield is a shield does. Where he's shielding for the deep state. That's actually called my deep state puppet. See, in my streams. It's a deep state puppet called by the deep state. And it looks like I was right. It's like shielding for the deep state 9/11. The official story is again like working to control Christians. Be like, hey, it's exactly see, he's using his platform exactly what they expect from a shield. They don't want Christians to wake up to those things. It's like he's a pastor, a lot of listen to the 9/11 truther. That's a bad thing to be, okay? So what's not there? So no, actually, you're the problem, buddy. People like you, men of low character, have no dignity, no integrity. They are cowardly and weak, and help the deep state to cover up a satanic sacrifice murder ritual of your countrymen. What a sellout! What a dirtbag! What a dirtbag! And that's what it was, by the way. There's like a ritualistic components to it. I've analyzed it, and it's like esoteric, ritualistic components to it. So, anyway, I suppose 9/11 is still an inside job, and it's still an issue. Now, with the high sugar diet and everything else, no wonder it's not many people waking up because people are dull-minded. You've been doing a good job at dumbing down the masses, and there'll be more people being led like the truth if they have been working down the masses so much. Now, from some statistics I looked, it looked like there's quite a lot of 9/11 truthers people who question the official story. I don't remember the actual numbers, but it's going to be a lot of people that don't believe the official story. If it's 20%, don't believe the official story of 50 or 60 or 80 or whatever it will be. So, boiling down to this piece of speculation, I believe to a certainty that there was a plane. The original plot by the deep state was to have a plane hit Washington 7. For some reason it didn't, and it still collapsed like it did in Washington 1 and 2, but controlled demolitions at the building. Even without the fake smoking gun, fake cause of the collapse, the airplane. And then there's a speculation were they more controlled, were the human pilots of the airplanes, were they passenger planes or were like military planes that were empty or like filled with some gasoline for the pyrotechnic cinematography effect. It's like this plan like how we was gonna be a massive fire once it hits, the wires fire, and it's like making more credible the impact and how fire it is. Then maybe it's like it melted from fire. Because look at all the fire, the big fireball as it hits. These things like this. Now we're gonna get into some of the more like dark parts of what it might have been like for the people, like how wicked these people were. Because it's like a lot of people, it's like they suffered, they died in fear. This is how called the calculated skunks are, where it's like, yeah, blow the elevators at the people is like make the elevators now because they wanted to have big numbers here. So for being able to justify an invasion and be able to get the masses to go along with an invasion and all these extra laws, you need like a high border count, like a high number. It's not like 30 people died, like we're going to war and all this stuff. It might be hard to sell. It would be like 30 people that died in the towers because they all made it out. Like most people made it out and got evacuated. It's just 30 dead. They said, well, is it worth the war? It's going to kill thousands of Americans. Like 30 died, and it's like 30 died, and we'll go to war and lose 300,000 American soldiers over this over time, possibly. It's like they needed like a high border count, like a high number to justify. You're gonna, yeah, you're gonna have to get used to the intermittent breaks. That's what just happened because I'm live streaming. I'm okay. Because I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom sometimes and whatever I'm doing. Then it's the thing, okay. Well, yeah, so they wanted to have a high body count, okay? They didn't want it to be just a few hundreds of people. It's like they wanted a lot of people dying in the towers, which means part of like this is like the more wicked aspect if you think about it, how wicked it was. Where it's like they were sitting down and planning out like to, we want a lot of people to like meet a slow, painful torture just in the towers is what ended up happening. We want to make sure that if there's 1,000 people in Route Center 1, it's like we don't want more than 100 making it out. It's like we want as many people in the building to die in the buildings and not be able to escape. See? It's like, well, we blow the elevator shafts and people were trapped on the higher floor, shocked to death from the smoke. And then, like, yeah, some people jump out the windows. They understand, it's like how cold and calculated this is. Like, this is part of the plot. Where it's like the city planning on how to carry this out. And it's like, yeah, we want it. Because the end goal is like having a lot of people die in the towers. It's like, well, we need to make sure in an organic event there'd be more people evacuated. So part of it was like having it fast, was like not a lot of time, because not every fire station in like the area is gonna be in on a conspiracy, okay? Which means that some people are doing all this job to save human life there in America, and they're not all part of the deep state plot to kill Americans in that day. There's some people that might do an honest job with some competence of saving human lives. So make it hard for those people to be able to do it. And there's also people that are, whatever degree of competence they have in the buildings, like office workers, they're going to have a very powerful motivating force, like mortality, to make an escape. So it's like the will to survive is a very powerful thing. And necessity is the mother of all inventions. So that creativity and emergency go hand in hand sometimes. So basically, it took. It must have took like a lot of. Like they planned this like to make sure not too many people survive. So part of it is the time, where it's not that much time, see. Because if there's fire workers and things like this, and like a lot of people that are not part of the plot and looking to save lives, and the deep state plan is to kill people and take lives. So there's things where they might improvise. If they will wait like 6 hours, which might be more credible, easy to believe, like after 6 hours of the plane, the towers burning, they collapse due to this long fire that's really hot for hours and hours. Okay, but it's like it's more likely if it takes like 8 hours after the plane's hit until it collapses that they'll improvise, just get a chopper here and like get repelling ropes and have people jump onto them and like into the chopper, rinse and repeat or something. It's like to mount an effective rescue operation. Would be improvising something. But if they can't access the towers from, it's like the stairwells. If all they was like blow the elevators and like blow the stairwells, it's like rubber in there to okay, so they can't get down at the bottom. Make sure of that. But still, people outside might be like, well, we got like a news chop over here. If we can get just a rope to like the chop sometimes have like steel tubes as the bottom. You could just tie ropes to and fly it, and then have the people like hang out the windows, could jump, hold on. Like meaning, do you understand? It's like people are jumping out the windows at that point. But when people are jumping out the windows, and it keeps happening, we see other people hang out the windows because they're about to jump. So it's like, yeah, even if it's like risky, like try something like that, it would be like stupid to sell something normally if it's not an emergency. Like just have a chopper with long ropes fly close to it, and then the people who hang out the windows can at least try to jump and grab onto it. That these people are gonna jump sooner or later anyway, and there's people jumping intermittently here and there. So it's like now it's like, well, they're gonna be certainly dead if they jump. So it's like if you even the choice like jumping to death and jumping trying to grab a rope and maybe failing and falling. Do you understand? It's like 100% death from your jump to maybe 50-50 or something like this. It's still like worse to gamble. So it's like these people that might try things. It's like improvise, just get choppers, cover the bills with ropes and have people with knots on it and have people that once they hang out the windows and someone jumping at here and there, like try to get close enough so they can grab onto the ropes and then just go down and then rinse and repeat like this. See? So it's like they weren't really, the deep state weren't looking to have people survive this. They wanted people to perish inside the buildings. And a lot of them. So I believe that it's not just about the prep work and the explosives and whatever else. Was not just about causing the collapse. Okay. It was also about limiting escapees, meaning making it as close and possible as possible for people to escape the buildings. So so analyzing is like the 9/11 day, it wasn't just about like all the work in like explosives that we did to the building, prepping the building generally for the day. It's not going to just be limited to like to block the steel girders across the building. There's going to be, in my view, I believe there's going to be prep work to make it hard for people in the towers to escape and get them trapped in there so they're in the towers when it collapses. That's going to be part of the prep work. Like playing with the elevators. Okay. They could even have had like explosives to the elevators, stuff like this, or some key part. Time to when the plane impacts the board at the same time. And then they go on the wall, the plane crash right after that. I go and I see the elevators not working or something, if someone would escape. So this is very advanced, like everything they did. And they've got planned every detail. And it's like if somebody survives and makes it out, it's like they have to understand that part of the planning is eyewitness testimony, see? Where they're wanting to have so that people that are in the building when it happens, if they get interviewed on the spot outside the towers by the news, it's like, well, there was smoke and fire and a bang and I ran out or something like this. And not like, well, yeah, I saw wires going to like C4. Okay. It's like it wasn't made a way where it's like, yeah, on the way down I could see explosives, okay, on the wall with wires and like a hole with time on it. Like, dick, or something like this. It's like, obviously not going to do it like that. I've listened to some tapes from people from inside the towers. One of the few tapes was like recorded from inside the towers. Allegedly was from a firefighter, and he was somebody was recording the radio transmission there, and he was like up. I'm on the 7th floor. I'm making my way up, and he's I'm here that there is blocked or something like this. In fact, and he was in the towers all the way up to the collapse. And I think part of why people don't want to wake up to this is like simple childish fear. Where like an infantile like cope or like coping mechanism might be to deny the danger of what it is. So I think part of what makes people not wake up to 9/11, like they're unwilling to wake up to that, it will be a scary reality. So if you tell them 9/11 was inside job, you present them with a reality of world view that's more scary than what they like it to be. So it's like powerful people control your country and murder thousands of people in your country, get away with it. And which means they still have the power to do it again and kill people and get away with it. So it's like it's a scary, more scary reality model presented than what they currently have. It was like, so I believe that's part of what makes people not want to wake up. Like they're afraid of the truth. Simply that. It's like, well, the deep state now that wasn't the Iraqis. That's more scary than it being the Iraqis. Understand? If like it were PF, like sometimes now was inside job. But well, that would mean that it's like the people that control my country. Like, and also this ego that I've been deceived. I admit I have been deceived. This ego, pride. It's like pride, fear. What makes people not wake up 9/11? Pride, fear. Pride and fear are gonna be major. Yeah, it's easy to fool people into convincing they be fooled. It's expressed, I don't know if that's Mark Twain or whoever it was, but it was the guy that it's easy to fool people into convincing they be fooled. Or because if you would admit to not have been inside job, that means you had to admit to have been duped and deceived. So that man's pride is like that. Or if you wake up late, well, it's like you were deceived for a long time. That's a problem I don't have. I woke up to not have an inside job living in Sweden as a Swedish person before I was 23 years old. And it's like the people that are 60 plus in America have in their country their life that has still not woken up and they have the same internet and computer and they have more. It's like they live in the countries, it matters more what's going on in your countries. It's like people don't have an excuse. People don't have an excuse to stay asleep at 9/11. Yeah, so anyway, I find it more interesting to show force on 9/11 than to deal with like the explosive demolition, how you did like all these details. It can be interesting, but I'm more interested in the force on 9/11. Now here's the thing too. The foreshadowing on 9/11 in pop culture Hollywood movies, which is just, so basically what I'm doing when I'm doing the Decode of Hollywood movies, it's similar to what Richard Gage does when he does, only it's a different angle, say. Where it's like he's working to decode like the official narrative and show you like some truths in there, how the official story doesn't make sense, and how there was a conspiracy that's it. So it's general same thing. Nice point. The foreshadowing of 9/11 Hollywood movies, decoding Hollywood movies, and finding and talk about sometimes showing the foreshadowing. That is a major thing when it comes to 9/11. Why? Because Al Qaeda didn't control Hollywood. Osama bin Laden doesn't control American Hollywood, see. So it's also like another smoking gun that the deep state, like the forces within America, like the deep state. See, so what I've been saying about reality, it matches. See, because Al Qaeda, Osama bin Laden didn't control Hollywood production houses in Hollywood. See, no, I've been telling you for years, the deep state Illuminati control pretty much everything in this world. The mainstream media, politics, pop culture, Hollywood, and music industry. Okay. And 9/11 shows this. 9/11 proves that. If you wake up to it, if you can see that, it proves it. Because 9/11 was planned in advance, hinted at before it happened, foreshadowing Hollywood movies in America. American movie industry, not Bollywood, American movie production companies. The American media were part of a conspiracy to control the reaction. Here's who did it, and okay, here's what happened, and here's who did it. And American politicians were part of it. Like, yeah, do you understand? 9/11 was what? Simple terms. Problem, reaction, solution from the deep state. Manufacture a problem that you plan in advance. Make 9/11 happen. Use the media you control and politicians to steer and control the public's reaction to the crisis, the problem you created. And then provide a solution from the media and politicians you control. See? So it's like, oh, 9/11, you have ABC News, here's the towers, okay, and then whatever. The American news station was so far saying, yeah, here's who did it. Pictures of, they show you pictures of a guy with like a Queen Covenant cape with a beard in Afghanistan. Here's the bad guys. See, in this country over here. It's like, oh, then George Bush, we're going to war with these people here in this country. Okay. So it's like they're all in a conspiracy, you can see. It's like problem solution. Deep state control Hollywood, warn or hint at, foreshadow the coming 9/11 attacks that they planned. Use the media they control to control the public's perception and reaction to this. Problem solution, control the reaction. Here's who did it. Be afraid, be very afraid of these people who did it over here. And then politicians. We're going to war with Iraq, Afghanistan, turn the Middle East to less launch for this. So if you can see, if you got eyes to see as I do. 9/11 really shows the way the world really works. And not just like the folks on the towers and explosions of this, but zooming out. Like zooming in and zooming out. So if you zoom out, it really shows what the world really, how the world really works. The deep state controls pretty much everything in this world system. The media, pop culture, movie industry, music industry, politics. Here's another conspiracy a lot of you are not ready for. Trump is a puppet, and a lot of you fell for deception with a system paid him as an anti-establishment rebel, anti-deep state type person. Okay. A lot of you fell for it. The same thing as a lot of you fall for Alex Jones being a so-called conspiracy accuser. Whereas I believe that he's a kind of countess agent, control opposition agent. And I believe Trump is a system shill. I believe anybody ends up being the president of America in this day and age is going to be a deep state puppet, period. Before they get in office. And if you will know that if somebody will get into office, they will become controlled by the deep state after. But it's like they don't let things catch them by surprise. It's like they're gonna control ahead of time. So I don't believe that they just wait until someone becomes the president and then get them captured. So they might have already decided that 10 years ago that Trump's gonna be the president in this time period. And to sell him as a real, like, yeah, the deep state are out to get him, and then like to paint him as a martyr, or like somebody who's being targeted, when really is protected by the system. Because people like me who read all like they've got me in the matrix, we actually get targeted. I've actually had assassination tests try to make me have access, shot him like with a dart gun. Since it is. Put in a psycho and all kind of stuff and being the real deal. Really targeted by the system. That means I'm targeted with the persecution porn called gang stalker reps in the daily movie. And the matrix movie that system turns on and it's agents attack you. And having actual half-hearted, full-hearted, or third-hearted assassination at numerous ones. So to paint Trump as the type of person I am, like somebody that the deep state is out to get, he's not part of the deep state. And I'm really that. They have fake assassination attempts. So one event is like they supposed there was a shooter, was a bad shot. See, he was up on the roof and shooting 5, 6, 7, 8 rounds, whatever, at the president. Allegedly. And all he got was a grazing shoulder blade on the ear. But look at the footage. I didn't see any bullet impacts around the president. I don't see any impact on human bodies. It's like a bleacher where it's like stacked with people behind Trump. And I don't see any bullet impacts. I don't see any people being hit. So where are all these bullets going? Where are all these bullets going? They're missed, near misses. Where are all the bullet impacts in video footage? So basically, I believe they could be fine blanks. It could be fine blank. And it could be like a lone guy with like the tisms or something, like a lone guy who gets put up to be a patsy, and you get told, yeah, you got the job from the president. There's something silly like this, simple. Like, yeah, you become a secret agent for the government body, and we need you to say today. It's gonna be like a training event to train Trump for assassination, something like this. It's gonna be like a drill. It's this reward exercise. It's gonna be an exercise where your job is to get up here, fire blanks to the president, and it's gonna practice taking cover. It's gonna be a drill for the Secret Service too, or something like this. So your job is to be up there on the roof, or firing blanks or something like this, and you get a medal and thank you for service, and they would put up and say, this guy was saved the day here at the training drill or something like this. And it's like, oh, they fool you, so I come bang, 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 they shot him, but it's a sniper shot after the knockout. They expended his blanks. So here's how I think they could have done it. Trump has a blood pack, like a Hollywood thing, where it's like they have in Hollywood all kinds of things that can make it look like someone got shot. They got like little explosive charges under the shirt with like blood pack, like a dye pack with explosive in it. Sympathy Banks had it one. It's like a little bag of fake blood with a little explosive in it that can be remote controlled, and you can push it to bang and it blows up. This is part of like practical special effects, it's called. And so basically the simple is like Trump could have had a thin plastic bag, fake blood, under his Rick Raff rocket or his toupee and his hat there, his MAGA hat. So you could have like a little blood pack under his baseball hat here. See? And the accused, like after he's fired a few blanks, and bang, 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 the accused like grab your head and act like you've been hit. See? There's like bang, 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 like act like you've been hit. This action is like selling it and simulating being hit. And it's crushing the blood pack and there's blood going down. So that's what I believe. That's how they could answer. I believe it was a fake assassination attempt, and I stand by that. Trump is a puppet. A lot of you have pie on your face. You were deceived, so you're gonna wake up this sooner or later. If you're a Christian, it's like you're here by at the latest at the Bema Seat of Christ, and I was out here to teach the truth. You were rejecting it. So I support. Yeah, so I believe it was a fake assassination attempt. He has a little blood, a little plastic bag of blood or something on his hat. The guy's firing blanks. Trump is in on it. Then it's the cue after he's fired a few times. You grab your head, activate your head. And now he's doing this like acting like this. Now he's crushing the blood pack on his hat, his toupee, his hat. Okay? And there's stage fake blood going on. Okay? So that's how they could done it. Guy firing blanks, that's a cue. Like after he fires a few times, like 3, 4, 5 times, you like grab your head and act like you've been shot. Okay? And it's like he crushed the blood bag here. And it runs down. It's like, oh, fine. This is all all the words the stage. This has all been pre-planned and they probably rehearsed this. And he just had practiced this. Like maybe it was WWE wrestling, something. It's American politics. It is like WWE wrestling. There's more obvious than that recently, where it's like politics is Swedish controlled too, and the prime ministers are puppets, but they don't have the same like flair or style of American politics. It's like more obvious like WWE wrestling. Okay, so it's like, and the Swedish politicians are more like act like a CEO, and now Trump is also that, but it's like a standard CEO of a company, kind of like boring and kind of like an accountant personality a lot of times. Okay. Well, they're kind of like, yeah, well, this we're doing. We're going to deliver the message to the UN or something. Here's the deal, people. It's just, they understand. Whereas Trump is more like just like a President Camacho in the Idiocracy movie. Okay. Trump's gonna build a wall. He's gonna fix everything. He's gonna make America great again. He's gonna do it all in 4 years. Okay. That's it. Is that pretty much that? So it's like, yeah, okay, it's to the point where it's like I have little hope for humanity, okay? Yeah, most of you are so like messed up that it's like this is most of you are not gonna come back. And the worst place to be is being a Jack Smack Raffinko, the Bible Church Christian, that has chosen to become an agent of the deep state and is serving them. That's worse than being like an ignorant person that is like being a person working for the deep state is worse than being ignorant for the deep state, as far as I'm concerned. So we'll see how burnt if it's edible or not. I kept it in the oven for several hours. And we'll see just how burnt it is, if it's edible or not. Yes, there's a lot of deep state controlled pastors. And part of what they do is pretend to be somebody not like a scam, or they pretend to be like me, somebody that work to resist the evils in this world. And the deep state won't secretly work for the deep state. Which is a despicable thing to be. So there's like people might be able to criticize, like so that the find the deep state. It's like they might be able to criticize the quality of finding them, but the truth is I've been actually working. And people might be able to go, well, might be happening in the scripture always secure or something like that. But it's like I've been fighting them. And I didn't pick this fight, this fight picked me. The Deep State made me part of a secret persecution program. And I'm intent to keep fighting it. I'm doing finishing touches on my gun. People need to be aware of my Rumble. If you're not aware of my Rumble, you're missing out. I made several live streams last 7 days, 2 weeks. They're Rumble exclusive. Teaching quality truth. As opposed to not quality truth, if there was such a thing. But there's going to be varying degrees of quality truth. So, here. Now we're going to 9/11. Illustrate what I was talking about before. I think they might have done 9/11. Here's the 2 towers. Here's 1 tower. There's 1 tower, rather. There's a steel beam. This is not to scale, okay? Here's a steel girder. Razor. Here's how they could have done it. They pre-weakened the steel beams by cutting it like this simply. So like this, roughed it through. And like this is simple. Let's say here's a thermite. And then here, the last part is a blasting charge. This is pre-cut, weakened by cutting it. That's a thermite charge, and this is a blasting charge. So first the pre-weakened the steel beams, thermite starts melting it. And then when this is done melted, this last part is a blasting charge. So it would make more sense than be mud on this side and cutting this way possibly. But whatever, I think they could have used a combination of tactics like pre-weakened the steel beams, thermite, and then a blasting charge to finish the job. (9/11) squibs. And I've done some dig on this and looked at different fooders. And there's some that are higher quality than others. Vertex and the 7. So remember, this was not hit by an airplane. So if that makes sense to you, so I can get a brain transplant or something. If you still believe the officials too after you see Vertex and the 7 going down, and it was never hit by an airplane, this is a controlled demolition for sure. So let's look at when the collapse starts. And you're gonna see explosions here. Played in some motion. And look at the windows as the collapse begins. See, there's windows being blown out here. At the start of collapse, there's windows being blown out. From what I can see, that's what it looks like. So we'll look at footage of the towers collapsing, this building collapsing on 9/11. The key moments is if you can see things happening right before it starts coming down, because the explosions will be happening at the start of the collapse, or like right before the building starts collapsing. Look at these windows here. Imagine how dumb you have to be to believe 9/11 was, I believe the official story. And have access to these videos so you got to say yourself believe the official story. Deal with existing slaves. Where someone like one that can see, the other that can see. Without putting it top line, but they still believe the official story. And that's why I would be a fucking video about that on Instagram. That is really like the most inspirational about the connections. That really shows how it's happened. So if you practice as a Christian, you don't pass this movie about the truth. That you just conveniently not talk about space conspiracy. And it's worse if you share it like anyone would say. Well, it doesn't matter. Well, it doesn't matter, of course it matters. South Americans were murdered by 9/11. They blamed from other countries, used the local war, and the thousands of South Americans have died because of that war. So what was it, around 3,000 by 9/11? And I'd say at least 300,000 Americans have died from the wars and foreign, but we used 9/11 to justify wars. Some Americans to de-Americanize. I'd count this woman as a show too. No, here's one of the videos I've dealt with her before. The videos recover from COVID brain naturally. That's not a problem that I have. I think it's it. Forgot turns out I was right. I wasn't really fierce, I wasn't afraid.
afraid of talking about the other jabs, not saying bad jabs. But I'm checking my vaccines there, so why I didn't have the fear of COVID. I wasn't afraid. I kind of did super sick for more than life for me. Because if I was a more like to be through the vaccine, then do something music. But if I believe there is the problem I have no choice to do something, it's a problem I can't have to be super bad. For sure, I don't like that. Well, but I didn't get the COVID jab, not the booster, and I think it seems complicated. So I don't regret not getting the COVID jab because I think it's even complicated. There were some people that want to get the jab, you can't see some people do that. No, I don't have a regret in that part. Not get the COVID jab. As a matter of fact, I'm going to get back to the one. I'd be interested if more people follow the especially the rest of the station, I think, if they would come with that, that'd be cool. But I really don't be able to come down with those solutions. That would really be good. I'd be interested to see if so many people try to go there. How many people did it in dancing? I didn't hear it, I didn't see it. So, I'm not vaccinated, but didn't get vaccinated with COVID. The vaccine wasn't until 18. Well, anyway, I couldn't get a year jab. Some people go a year. Vaccinations. I think get vaccinated for anything. I'm age on that part. That's why we want vaccines to get that. It's called swine flu. That is here. I didn't get nothing. So, I'm taking vaccine monsters to me. Also them. That makes me great. I guess. I can hold that vaccine monster. most likely the first Olympics I'm going to my past live stream. Might not be ready for that. No, I saved the short. So, upload the short from the previous training stream. Set the music. Make the live stream. There's nothing but that. They never found a weapon special structure. Rounds. Which that weapon can put control back. No exactly structure. Like southwest of there. They look like the boat just makes them come. Like Fuchsia wasn't that. But yeah, no exactly. Like north, south was back there. I know it's really exactly. If you ends up getting wrong, you can trust me that Canada poses south compared to the very there is twice that line is not the one. So there is weird. What's another thing? Bush in the classroom when that ever happened, it was a kind of Mason Bridge or something weird. But play, mouse, dick, bird, steel or something like this. Yeah, like the shit of champion. Weird. Well, stuff. Or Bush can go in the classroom. When none of that would happen. I guess he's trying to act surprised. Basically his acting was like he's trying to act. So it's like this multiple acting. It's like he's they could look like a president is just like this. Might be working to keep together acting posts and other acting mostly. You gotta say so I'm controlled. So I believe that Bush was in a conspiracy way ahead of time. Okay. See, that way will be like so Bush might that normal presidents not controls and can't. But this is when I first heard of it. The secret service of evidence because it is the biggest of the text. Okay. So a normal person not control might not try to act opposed. I feel distressed. Not depending on the world for the song. Normal person like it's like to try it's just that this is not that freak out and it's the water level but it's an active pretending pretending to not and then it's pretending to be a nice president like it's sort of like acting as a guy that doesn't work out. You can't let you see it. You just heard this. You've got to that like act like the president's not about so I like quote games on me. But it's good stuff. Somebody's talking about some price of 5 to 6 4 beef. High Francis Price. Well, yeah, there were jumpers, these people were in office buildings, fires and smoke. I saw people who chose to jump up and faced with, I guess for them was like what must have been open for example, that we faced with certain slower, more painful deaths versus like a certain death that's more painful versus a certain death that's weaker and that's painful. And really so for most people now that is, wake up. So the main issue should be to stay alive. That's not said. Basically, the responsibility is to stay alive. So it's God's decision. How long you're gonna live is a question. So it's simple. Any human beings, your job as a human being, so people, if you're watching something, you have suicidal ideation, and I don't have not for hell, I will still not have it, so yes, I'm a guy with delusion. Even if you have more so, don't feel like it, so I'm not going to want to so it's all we have is abortions and suicidal ideation. It's simple truth. You should let God decide when you die. Okay. And then trust. But basically you should trust, okay, God, you should let God be. You should wait. Like so basically simply God will decide how long you live, okay? God has the power to make you die or keep you alive. You're as a lost person, for some reason God wants to stay alive. He can keep you a lost person alive. So your job is to work to stay alive, okay? And you leave it up to God how long you're able to do that. So it's like your job is as a human being is to work to stay alive. And then you leave it up to God how effective you will be. But it's like your job is to work to stay alive. And it's up to God how successful you will be long term in doing that. Okay. So that's a simple immortality, version of immortality. There's people who kill babies, like abortions. There's people who kill themselves. But rather they should have without the work to stay alive. And then, when it's my time to go, okay, I will go. And I'm not gonna work to stay alive if it's my time to go. I'll go even if it goes because human beings, you have a right to take responsibility to protect yourself as much as you need to. Protect yourself as a human being. Protect yourself. And people should offer themselves. Yeah, the deep states have our pastors to work for the deep state. So I put that something that I can't understand the surprise. The deep states have pastors to work for the deep state. Yeah. Doesn't it work? The pastors start to sell out to the deep state. Or they sell us to the deep state. I gotta keep fighting for about 3 years. I gotta keep set up. I gotta keep my mind to go to the front. And